I believe my partner, a 25-year-old female, is a high-functioning addict. She is extremely intelligent and works in the healthcare system, ironically. She has a very rare condition that causes her to be in extreme pain almost 24/7. Because of her age, every pain management doctor we've seen doesn't want to prescribe her any sort of pain medication. Feeling like there was no hope, she would take out her frustrations on me and would constantly be in a bad mood about 60% of the week. I didn't care. I knew that she was in pain and needed to blow off some steam. This cycle of going to seek help, being turned away, then taking her frustration out on me continued for 5 years. Side note, we live with her parents, and her mom is on some seriously hardcore opioids. My girlfriend would take some of her mom's medication when she was having an extremely painful day, sometimes with her mother's consent, and sometimes stealing from her. Her mother's medicine helped, but she couldn't rely on it as her mother needed it too. Then, around 6 months ago, she found out about kratom through Reddit and decided to give it a try. At first, the results were amazing. She was constantly in a good mood, in no pain, and all lovey-dovey. It felt like I finally had my girlfriend back from when we first met. As time went on, she began to consume more and more kratom. I thought nothing of it as she told me, "It's just a plant. It's not like I'm taking pharmaceuticals." About a month ago, I noticed that I had run out of my attention deficit hyperactivity disorder medication. I allowed her to take half a pill on days that she worked, just to get her through her shift because she works 12-hour shifts. I have 60 attention deficit hyperactivity disorder pills for just 1 month. I only take half a pill, maybe 3/4 of a pill if I really need it. There's just no way I'd run out unless she was taking more than I had told her she could. I politely asked her if she had been taking more than half a pill a day because I never run out of my medication. She instantly blew up on me, saying things like, "How dare you think so low of me? I work in the healthcare system. You really think I'd be that stupid to abuse your medicine?" In the moment, I believed her. I thought maybe I just wasn't counting my doses correctly, and I apologized. A few weeks after that, her mom asked her why so many shipments of kratom kept being delivered to the house. Her mother was concerned because each bottle contained 300 capsules, and a new bottle of kratom would arrive every 2 weeks. My girlfriend blew up on her the same way she did with me. I just sat there as both of them were going at it. I just didn't want to get involved. After the argument was over, she spun the blame onto me and said, "Why didn't you, me, have my girlfriend back? I need a man who can stand up for me, and you've never once stood up for me." I just apologized and tried to calm her down as I've never seen her so angry in my life. Flash forward to today, and I think her consumption of kratom and whatever else she's taking is slowly ending the life of her. She is constantly sick, unmotivated to do anything, and extremely irritable. I don't want us to break up and leave her in this state. Please, any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now for an update. To everyone who took the time to read my post and give me advice, I thank you. I don't know how or why I let this situation go on for so long. Last night, my girlfriend snapped on me once again, but this time I put my foot down for once. Ultimately, I told her that she needed help and that I would leave if she didn't seek treatment. She told me about some dark trauma that she had gone through before we met, stuff that I do not wish to talk about. She confided in me that she doesn't take this stuff just for the physical pain, but for her trauma pain too. She agreed to get help, and as suggested by some of you, I bought a safe for her mother and me to keep our medicine in. I honestly don't know how effective her treatment is going to be, or if I even made the right decision. But what I do know is if this continues after getting help, I'm done. Again, I deeply thank you all for your input. I truly believe this problem would have gotten progressively worse if it wasn't for you all, so thank you. I wish you all the best. Wish us luck. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Has she ever tried good old marijuana? I've used kratom. It is nice, but I've heard and read really bad stories about people getting addicted to it. I've read your replies to other comments, and my honest opinion is that by holding on to hope and accepting her like this is a form of enabling. This relationship has become toxic and unsustainable. You should have boundaries. A boundary being you won't date a drug addict and leave if she doesn't change. Drugs sink their hooks into people, and nothing will change until the user wants to change. You sticking around even though she's stealing your medication, acting like a different person, and having hostile breakdowns, honestly, isn't driving her to change. It's reinforcing that she has everything under control, and it's fine. It doesn't matter how smart she is, or that she's in the healthcare field. Anyone with some experience with addiction will tell you that you would be shocked. Drug addicts being dumb, or poor, or all homeless is just a stereotype. Your girlfriend needs a serious reality check or wake-up call. Comment 2. I'm a chronic pain patient, and I think you should get a safe for your ADHD medication. I don't think you can trust her. Regardless of her pain, you need your medication, especially since recently, at least in the United States, some ADHD medications have been in a shortage. You can't light yourself on fire to keep your girlfriend warm. Those medications are for you and your brain. Please take care of yourself. As for her, she seems to have an addictive personality, and I know firsthand from neurologists, pain specialists, and a lot of other doctors that they can just say, I can't prescribe this if they think she will get addicted. There are risk factors, and doctors will just say they can't if you seem to be pill-seeking. It sucks because the pain is real, but the opioid epidemic made doctors, rightfully, careful about who is on it. Also, pain is no excuse to lash out at you, yell, and degrade you. It's one thing if she was just snippy or snapped one time during a flare-up, but being in pain doesn't mean you can berate people. Now for the update. I'm back with a quick update, and it's not as positive as I'd hoped. So it's been almost 2 days since my last post, and things have taken a turn. I've got to be real about it. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed and just need to vent. After Olivia agreed to seek treatment, I thought things would ease up, but it turns out that was just the beginning. Olivia seemed more open to talking about her struggles, which is great. Honestly, it's tough to get her to open up about anything, especially when it comes to this stuff. So we sat down in her living room, surrounded by her family's old furniture. I mean, the stuff was ancient. Like, I half expected to find caveman drawings on the coffee table. It's just not my vibe, but whatever. I noticed her mom had been quieter, but still kept glancing at Olivia as we talked. I get that she's worried, but her eyes were giving me major side-eye, like I was the one who got them into this mess. I asked Olivia about her experiences with Kratom, and she admitted the dependency was stronger than she thought. It kind of broke my heart to hear her say that. Her mom chimed in, expressing concern about Olivia's health, which led to an awkward silence. Like, we get it, Mom. You're worried. We're all worried. I suggested we look for local treatment programs together, and Olivia hesitated but eventually nodded. I could tell she was scared, but she knows we have to do this. We found a place that offered a comprehensive program and set up an appointment. We decided to tell her parents about the treatment plan during dinner that night. Dinner was held at a local Italian restaurant where the ambiance was lively. I love Italian food, but honestly, I could have gone for some takeout that night. As we waited for our food, I brought up the topic of her treatment plan. Olivia's mom looked relieved, but also nervous, while her dad was mostly quiet. That should have been a warning sign right there. Just then, her dad unexpectedly dropped his fork and shouted, expressing disbelief about the treatment. He accused her of once again seeking an easy way out instead of confronting her issues. Tension filled the table. I could see Olivia's face turn pale. I defended her, mentioning how brave it was for her to consider treatment. Olivia's dad shot back, saying she had made poor choices and this was just another one. The restaurant staff glanced over as the argument escalated. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. Olivia stood up and left the table, heading straight to the restroom. I followed her, and she was visibly shaken, trying to catch her breath. We returned to the table, but the atmosphere felt heavy, like we were walking on eggshells. Her mom tried to break the silence with small talk, but it didn't work. After dinner, Olivia's dad refused to acknowledge the treatment plan, saying he wouldn't support it. The next day, Olivia had her appointment and told me it went well. I was nervous for her, but she seemed hopeful. A few days later, I overheard a conversation between Olivia and her mom about the treatment. Olivia's mom mentioned wanting to help, but her dad insisted they stay out of it. A week later, during a family barbecue, tensions flared again when her dad brought up her past. He criticized her choices in front of everyone, which caused an uproar among the guests. Olivia snapped back, saying she was working on herself and didn't need his judgment. The argument escalated, leading to Olivia storming away from the barbecue. I stepped in to remind her dad that she was trying her best, which only made him angrier. The family dynamic shifted after the barbecue. Her dad stopped speaking to her altogether. Olivia decided to focus on her treatment and cut ties with her dad for the time being. We continued to attend her therapy sessions together, and she began to feel more empowered. Honestly, I noticed a change in her. She was smiling more and even started cooking again, which is a big deal. Olivia's mom started to show more support, even offering to help with household tasks. It's like a whole new world. Sure, there are bumps in the road, but we're making progress. Edit. A lot of people are asking about my relationship with Olivia and whether I'd be okay if she didn't want to be with me anymore. We've been together for over 4 years, and I honestly can't imagine my life without her. I'm not perfect, but I love her completely, even through the ups and downs. Am I the idiot for blocking my fiancé's brother and his girlfriend after they ruined our engagement trip? Last year, I went on a big family vacation with my boyfriend's family. On the trip, he proposed to me after 8 years together, and I said yes. We ended up spending about half the vacation doing our own thing and enjoying our engagement, and spent the other half with the family. I posted the news online and ended up spending more time than I intended, just responding to people sending their congratulations for a full day of the trip. And do wish that I had known to limit that more. But I was caught up with sharing the big news and still felt that the trip wasn't largely impacted negatively. It felt like everyone was happy with the trip, other than my boyfriend's brother, who seemed to suddenly act noticeably coldly towards me. For months, I could tell that the brother clearly had an issue with me. And I told my partner, but was told that I was imagining it. They eventually grabbed lunch, and I asked that he bring it up in order to get it cleared up. And afterwards, my fiancé told me that the brother had felt a certain way about me on the vacation, but that he had stood up for me and that it was all cleared up. Months later, the brother was visiting town and wanted to stay with us, but I had still gotten weird vibes from him. My fiancé continued to tell me I was overthinking it and that it was never really an issue. I told my fiancé that I'd feel better if we both called and just openly discussed it and got it all cleared up. He was hesitant to call, but we did. The brother didn't know that I was on the call yet and was instantly more than happy to go off on giant rants about how he 100% had a huge issue with me and that I ruined the family vacation and that I've shown so many red flags by keeping my fiancé away from the family that I was on my phone too much and attributing very many negative traits to every little action and word I said that could possibly be seen as negative. He had very clearly been spiraling on all these thoughts for a long time. I sort of signaled to my partner, confused, and wanted him to bring up that he had dispelled all these issues months ago at the lunch. My partner said this to the brother, and the brother was just confused, stating that my boyfriend agreed 100% with everything he said before and actively added to all these narratives. And many more details came up where my fiancé had actively said really bad things about me and pretty much talked negatively about me. It turned out that the brother had also spent these months telling the parents all these things as well now, saying that my fiancé fully agreed with him. But luckily, the parents didn't take it all very seriously. This has led to multiple arguments with me feeling unsupported and betrayed, along with it now being an established pattern with other incidents as well, where my partner actively takes other people's sides in making me sound bad, while never really talking well of me. This hurts when he's really the main person who even knows me and would be able to vouch for me. The arguments have somehow just fully turned into being about me being controlling about what he says to other people, and that he should be able to talk openly with family, and that he lied because he knew I wouldn't be happy with him, and that my reaction is proving him right. He's saying he's fully justified in everything he did, and that I'm not being understanding. I'm really confused because I do believe that people should have other spaces to talk about their issues, but what's the line between that and being unsupportive? I don't mean to isolate his opinions from his family if he truly agrees. I'd love to hear thoughts on this and what should be expected. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. If he shares the same opinions as the people talking bad about you, I'm not sure he's the right person for you, as he's not being honest with you. If he doesn't share the same opinions as the people talking bad about you and doesn't stand up for you, I'm not sure he's the right person for you, because he doesn't have your back and can't be trusted. I would give the ring back and say we need to work on our relationship a bit more before making the commitment of marriage. I'd also be concerned that your fiancé was okay with having someone who is so openly hateful towards you stay with you in your home. There are so many red flags with this guy. I would be seriously wondering if he is husband material. Comment 2. Why would you still want to be with someone who is actively running a smear campaign against you? Why would you want to marry someone that disrespects you so much? That is not love. Nobody can tell you what to do, but never in a million years would I share myself with someone that treats me like this. Jesus, my partner doesn't kiss the ground that I walk on. But he would immediately come to my defense and shut down situations like this. Now for the update. 2 days after the crazy confrontation with my fiancé's brother, I got a text from my fiancé asking to meet up at our favorite diner. I was like, great, a chance to sort this mess out and maybe get some clarity. So, I went to the diner and found him already seated, looking all tense and avoiding eye contact, like he was about to get interrogated by the police or something. Not a good sign. He started the conversation by saying he spoke with his brother again, trying to fix things. I mean, fix things? Is that what we're calling it? He mentioned that the brother still felt hurt and claimed I had taken him away from family traditions, whatever that means. The fiancé suggested that we should all go on a weekend trip together to resolve whatever this thing is, I guess. We planned the trip for the upcoming weekend and decided to stay at a cabin his parents owned near a lake. Just great. A romantic getaway for 4. Perfect. The night before the trip, I overheard my fiancé on the phone with his brother, whispering about me. Yeah, that was a real confidence booster. During the trip, the atmosphere was just so awkward. The brother arrived with his girlfriend, who totally ignored my existence. What a welcoming committee. We all sat around a fire, and the brother made these offhand comments about how family should come first. I mean, dude, we get it. You're the family police. I tried to lighten the mood by suggesting some games, but the brother's girlfriend shot me down. So classy. Frustrated and feeling like a total outcast, I excused myself to the kitchen, where I overheard the brother and fiancé discussing me in the most lovely way. The brother's girlfriend came into the kitchen, smirking and giving me these backhanded compliments about how she didn't know how I put up with my fiancé. Oh, you and me both, girl. The next morning, I woke up early, determined to confront the situation head-on. During breakfast, I casually brought up their little conversation from the night before, asking if they had discussed me. The brother pretended not to know what I was talking about, but his little smile totally gave him away. The fiancé looked uncomfortable and quickly changed the subject. Nice try, buddy. After breakfast, I took my fiancé aside and demanded to know what was going on with his brother. He hesitated and then finally admitted that his brother didn't want me in the family. Well, that's just great. That evening, as we were getting ready to leave, the brother pulled me aside and accused me of being controlling. I calmly explained that I only wanted to be included, but he laughed and dismissed me like I was some annoying bug. On the drive back, the vibe in the car was so thick you could cut it with a knife. My fiancé kept glancing at me, but didn't say a word. Once we got home, I decided to take a bold step to reclaim my narrative, whatever that means. I sent a group text to my fiancé, his brother, and their parents, detailing the events of the trip. The parents replied with concern and disappointment, which put the brother on the defensive. The fiancé attempted to defend his brother, saying it was just family dynamics, but I cut him off before he could even finish. The brother retaliated by claiming I was trying to turn the family against him. Seriously? At this point, I just wanted to throw my phone at a wall. I ended the conversation with a final message, asserting my worth and desire for respect. I blocked the brother and his girlfriend from my phone and social media. A few days later, my fiancé attempted to reach out, but I ignored his messages. Instead, I focused on planning a solo trip for myself to rediscover my independence because God knows I needed it. On the morning of my departure, my fiancé showed up unannounced, demanding to talk. I couldn't even. The audacity. I confronted him about his loyalties, and he struggled to articulate his stance. As I was packing my bags, I told him our engagement would need reevaluation if he couldn't stand by me. I mean, it was getting to that point, right? I left for my trip, leaving the chaos behind, and honestly, it felt kind of freeing. Edit. After returning from my trip, I had a heart-to-heart with my fiancé. It was tough, but we needed to address the issues. He admitted he had let his brother's opinion cloud his judgment and realized how much hurt it caused me. We talked about boundaries with his family and agreed on a united front moving forward. He's been working on rebuilding trust since, and I'm cautiously optimistic. We're taking it slow, focusing on our relationship first before involving others. Am I the idiot for forcing my friend into rehab against her will? A bit of background. We both have a history of substance abuse and chaotic childhood and teenage years that we sorted out before we met. I was a junkie homeless person, riding heroin and everything else I could find before I sobered myself up and embraced a more, but not perfect, healthy lifestyle. We're both mentally unstable and traumatized to the core, but we always managed to be independent, strong, and hard workers. So I definitely understand what she's dealing with. I'm no stranger to all of this. She's been my trusted person for years, the only one I could count on, the fiercest and bravest human being I have crossed paths with. She has always been here for me and always found a solution for every single one of my problems. Due to her really rough past, it was incredibly hard to gain her trust. She never wanted to rely on anyone or let her guard down, but after a while, we ended up having an extremely strong relationship. A whole different thing than friendship or partner love, a thing that I couldn't explain. In another universe, we would be together, but not in this one, and it's perfectly fine. She started to use coke again 2 years ago. Every addict here knows the story. You use it on your weekend to spice your party a little bit sometimes. Then every weekend, then every day, because it starts to be hard to function without any drugs, and you end up with everything in your life gravitating around finding your next dose to achieve the most basic things, which is staying alive. Here we are. She started to hit what I thought was rock bottom maybe 12 months ago. Coke was now mandatory for any action. She always had some in her apartment, and I warned her because I knew how this would end. The most colorful red flags were blasting full light as if there would be no tomorrow. But as usual, I know what I do. I'm not weak, and I need no one. But what I thought was the bottom wasn't so many meters below sea level. She's now in such a state of despair that she mixes everything at least 3 times a week on top of her daily 3 grams of coke. Ketamine, methadone, Xanax, coke, alcohol, MDMA, and antidepressants. Yeah, all mixed up. And I'm not talking about snorting a line and drinking 2 beers. I'm talking about multiple grams, 2 packs, and liquor. She also started to inject coke, for goodness sake. She lost so much weight that her doctor warned her she's on the edge of being force-fed. Maybe 3 months ago, I rushed to her home and found her bleeding from the nose, mouth, and ears. She also damaged her liver badly. She's vomiting and coughing blood on a daily basis, and she's losing her sanity. She's very aggressive, crying, and dissociated. The police even needed to intervene 3 weeks ago because she was acting irrationally. She overdosed 2 months ago and ended up in the emergency room, and since then, it's been a recurring event. We were here again this morning with her girlfriend. But these careless individuals, I deeply respect and love hospital staff and caretakers. Many of my friends are, but trust me, these ones are the most careless I have ever met. Always let her leave after 2 hours. She's suicidal, she's dying, She's completely out of her mind and cutting herself, but they don't want to deal with her since she doesn't want to stay. She got a brain scan this morning and a blood test, just for us to hear. She has 6 different toxins in her blood, and that's why she's in this state. Goodbye. No surprise there. Everyone relies on me since I'm almost the only one she listens to. But she doesn't listen to anything. For months, I've been trying to convince her to go to rehab or at least spend a couple of days in a hospital. It's completely free in our country. Last night, my boyfriend, her girlfriend, and I were trying again to change her mind until 1 a.m. And this morning at 6, I received a call. Famine, you need to come as soon as possible to the emergency room. She did it again. I have no idea what to do. I'm searching for information to make her under guardianship, to force hospitalization, but it's incredibly hard and long to achieve. Let's be honest, she will be dead before that happens. After the emergency room discharged her this morning, I tried again for an hour in the parking lot while she was nearly comatose to convince her to go to rehab. We agreed with her girlfriend to take her tomorrow, willingly or not. I do not care if she hates me afterward. Trust me, I really don't. I tried everything to make her react. I pulled every string. I'm here because I need to know if I can say or do something else. I'm slowly accepting that I will bury her this year. My brain and my trauma being what they are, I unconsciously withdraw emotionally too. I'm still intensely present and doing my best, but the more time passes, the less I feel anything about it. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Damn. Your words hit hard, but they hit good. Thank you. I realize how hard and emotionally distant I've been since the situation hit the fan because I was angry for the exact reason you listed above and couldn't face it. On top of it, I have a terrible need for control, not in a manipulative way or anything, and can't tolerate being powerless towards people I care for. Now, I can't unsee all the "I'm so sorry" looks she gave me, all the hugs she needed, but I couldn't offer because I was unconsciously so mad about everything. I understand why she felt that I failed her, that she didn't need someone to save her, but someone who understood. If you don't mind, yes, I would like to message. That's really kind of you. Comment 2. Oh yeah, you're right, and I'm absolutely aware of this aspect of me. I lived for numerous years in the most toxic codependency someone could imagine. Unsurprisingly, it turned out terrible. I navigated, mostly, out of this unhealthy habit after years of therapy, and now I'm dedicated to, I can't save people from themselves. That's not my role, but I can be present. But I struggle a lot with this one. What makes me sad is that now I'm so numb. Except for one person, not her, my feelings are so bottled up and absent that it doesn't affect me that much, at least on the surface. But that's another story. One day I will find the balance, I'm sure. Now, for the update. Just over a week has passed since the last ER visit. I got a call from the hospital about my friend being brought in again. She was found unconscious in a public restroom by a stranger. I rushed to the hospital, fearing the worst. When I got there, I saw her parents in the waiting room. They were really upset and arguing about who should have helped sooner. The doctors told them she was stable, but still in critical condition. I said we all need to work together for her sake. Her mom got mad at me for not doing enough. Her dad interrupted, saying she had refused help multiple times. After a few hours, she woke up and asked to talk to me alone. I offered to help her find a treatment program. She agreed, but wanted to go home first to get her stuff. I went with her. At her apartment, it was a mess with empty bottles and drug stuff. Her older brother showed up out of nowhere, super mad about the state of the apartment. He accused her of ruining her life and threatened to cut ties if she didn't change. I tried to calm things down between them. Things got worse, and he stormed out, slamming the door. I tried to comfort her, but then the doorbell rang. Her mom showed up, demanding to talk to her. Things got tense as her mom blamed her for their family's problems. She yelled back, saying she never wanted to be a burden. I decided to leave. As we left, she begged me not to abandon her. I promised to come back the next day to help her find treatment. The next morning, I got a text from her mom. She told me my friend had left the apartment overnight. I called her, but got no answer. Days passed with no sign of her, and I got more and more worried. Her brother reached out, saying he hadn't heard from her either. We both decided to file a missing person report after a week of silence. The police told us she was seen at a known drug hotspot. To answer a few questions, her parents were not involved before the recent hospitalization. She didn't want them to know about her using again. The brother and I didn't know she had gone missing. She has been in contact with someone from rehab, but that person hasn't heard from her either. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.